seem to have randomly woken up a couple hours before work. Can't get back to sleep. So here we go. Back at this. Maybe this will just be my time slot. I just stream at nighttime. Weird times. All right. $5 games. I was interested, pulled the trigger on this earlier. It's 2 games, Hexen and Heretic. If you noticed the other day, I had Doom and Doom 2 and maybe Doom 64 or something installed. Yeah, right here. I forgot that they did the Doom and the collection of Doom and Doom 2. I think it had mod support or something like that, and you could just get a couple of custom levels, campaigns, whatever. But they did a re-release with remastered music and all sorts of stuff for Doom and Doom 2 earlier this year, I think around QuakeCon, and put it out for free. I completely forgot. I never redeemed it on the Switch. I didn't even know it came out on the Switch or Switch 2, so added that to the library. Of course, Hexen and Heretic, they both came out recently, with all the expansions and 2 new campaigns, just like Doom has. I picked these up. These are 2, so the thing with these 2 collections is that this was an early game for the Switch that I got because I like arcade games. And these are, for the most part, like arcade perfect ports from what I can tell. I'm not a Pac-Man master or anything like that. It's all arcade games though. So they had the Archives Volume 1 and Archives Volume 2. I kept looking and I was like, man, why do those look weird? Like, I was just looking at the thumbnails, like, oh, it doesn't really stand out to me. Usually I would just see like a big picture of like Xevious, and it would be, there's a version of Pac-Man Championship Edition here, I believe. These are Famicom or Nintendo games. All these right here, these 2 collections. But at the same time, some of those games are different. And me, as a person who likes retro games, I have an appreciation for like weird ports of games. Again, let me load this up because I think it might be in here. I'm not sure. It probably isn't. Wouldn't surprise me if this game isn't in here. I know Tecmoball's in here. We'll see. No, oh, wait, hold on, let's go all the way up. No, okay, so 10-Yard Fight. There's a baseball game or football game from Nintendo called 10-Yard Fight. It's a football game where you only have one formation. You got like split backs. You can run a shotgun play. When you run the shotgun play, the guy's like doot 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 doot. It probably takes him 30 seconds to run across. Once he's over there, he's there. When you hike the ball, you got your 2 receivers, and you got the one that's up forward. There's no elevation to the ball, so if anybody's in the path when you throw it, they catch it. There's an arcade version too. That to me, like, it's a game that, you know, people kind of hate on, and the Nintendo, like, man, this game sucks. But for when it came out, like when I went back, I didn't play it until it might have been like the mid 2000s or something like that. And when I first tried it, like, this game is terrible. And the more I played it, the more I appreciated it. Like, here's Mappy Land. There are a lot of ports. Again, as you can see, this says Arcade Classic Series for the original Mario Bros. Mario Bros. This is what Nintendo was known for back then, is arcade ports of games. And back then, you know, having the arcade at home and having these other games, like even Blaster Master. Look at this. This is not an arcade game. This blew my mind when I was a kid, because I would sit there and look at it, and the cover for the box says Authentic Arcade Action. Unfortunately, there's no way to flip the boxes over. It'd be really cool if you could. This is not an arcade game. This is an original Nintendo game. It's a hell of a Nintendo game too. But they were all about advertising, like, hey, this is arcade perfect. Or if it's not arcade perfect, we've made changes so it feels like the arcade. That's what makes Double Dragon, this version, these 2 versions of these games here, really neat. So, this is not the same as the regular arcade version of Double Dragon. However, it's the spot. There's a lot of people that prefer the Nintendo versions of these games. check my hours at work. So they were originally going to have me working. I've worked the weekday shift, which is for my department is Monday through Thursday, but they're 10-hour shifts. They switched me over to weekend and made me a seasonal manager, so now I work technically Friday and Saturday are the only 2 days I have to work. But they still want support on the weekdays. They need another. The issue is that I think they need like another lead or something like that. They need like a seasonal lead that knows what they're doing. I don't think they can hire for that. I think they're full on lead spots. So they have me kind of working between both shifts. They have like weekend leads covering, and again, I'm a manager, but still I can do the same thing. Oh man, this Hades 2 thing, dude. I think I'm gonna have to just go for Hades 2. So because they need support on the weekdays in multiple departments, they have me working. They're trying to work with me, like, hey, we don't want to overload you. We want to make sure that you have some free time. I was like, don't give me any free time, good. I'll have free time in like December when the hours start getting really low. Like, just let me work for these 2 months. Like I told them, like, let me work like September through October, November. It'll be halfway to November because once it hits Black Friday in my building, work for a Macy's distribution center, stores stop getting a lot of freight. So by like the first week of December, work starts getting really light. By Christmas time, it's like it's like a ghost town. Everybody goes on vacation and stuff. Right? So I'm used to working crazy hours anyway, and I like being able to do that because it keeps me just like, you know, it doesn't bother me if they have me do that. I tell people all the time, it's a lot easier to switch my schedule, sweet. It's a lot easier to get used to doing something and then have to pull back and be like, hey, I don't have to do as much, compared to not doing all that stuff and then having to somebody expect you to do more and you have to like push yourself harder than you've ever done. I'd rather go the other way. How I've always worked. Anyway, okay, so we have mode A for 1 player and 2 player, and mode B. Unfortunately, this game does not explain what this is. This is not in the arcade. So I'm going to start off with regular Double Dragon so we can see what's going to be punched in the stomach. Iconic. Hey, you get back here with my girlfriend. I'm not going to play through the whole first level. I think I did this last night. Or the night before. When I was a kid, all we had was a Nintendo. Before we had, I ended up getting a Sega Genesis. So my brother had a Nintendo. I was born in '87. As far as I know, we always had a Nintendo. He had this thing. If you look it up, I didn't know what it was called until probably within the last couple of years. He forgot the name of it too. He had this thing called an Action Max. He also had an Atari, but it was already gone. Or maybe he just didn't. He got to a point where it was too cool for video games when he was in like middle school. Meanwhile, here I am at 38 years old playing Nintendo games or whatever. Play Switch 2 games at like midnight. 1 o'clock on a work day. Just in case something changes in the game, you know. You never know. These games change all the time. 50,000 points at Double Dragon. Alright, so let's just do this. One day I'll finish Double Dragon. I've never finished this game before. Alright, so we're gonna go and reset game. So the thing is there were two things when I was a kid that would be like an instant sell for a video game. It was if the game could talk to you. If you're playing a game and you have like Joe Montana Sports Talk Football and you hear, "Welcome to Joe Montana Sports Talk Football," or even what's it called, Kung Fu, with the ha, 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 whatever, the weird laugh that the villain does, Mr. X does. Any of that stuff back then was like cool. Of course, graphics to this day were like huge. We didn't have the same standard, of course, because games didn't look like this back then. But the other thing was being able to play 2-player. If you could play a game that was 2-player, that was already like an instant sell. Like, oh man, I can play this with somebody else. Not that I had friends until I was older, But whatever, you know, it's still the dream. Like, oh man, one day one of my friends is gonna come over. We're gonna play Double Dragon together. It's gonna be so cool. I think this is like a turn based, like you die, the other person goes or something like that. Anyway, so the other thing that's really interesting, and it's hard to explain to anybody, there is a game that came out. It was called Street Fighter 2. It's a pretty big deal. I believe this is before Street Fighter 2. Like this port's before Street Fighter 2 came out. I think Street Fighter 2 is what, like 91, 92? In the arcade. Street Fighter would have been out by now. Um, I'm building up this thing here because so one of the selling points of the game, as I said, playing two players at the same time. My brother had this game, and I remember we would I found out, I was like, what is? I was thinking, where's mode A, one player and two player? What's mode B? And I would never choose it because it says, I don't know, I don't know what that is. This is the one I'm going to go with right here if I'm playing alone. So you go in here, and you have all these characters. You got Billy, Will, Roper, Linda, Chen, and Abobo. So let's go with Billy. You pick Billy. Billy versus Billy. So the thing is because Streets of Rage 1 has this, Golden Axe has this. A lot of these games, they would have a mode like this where you can fight against each other. And it was just like an added value. Like, oh man, what do I need Street Fighter for? I can play this at home. I have my own fighting game. What's with the cross up? Speaking of cross ups, so I think I mentioned the other day that I had been thinking about getting Street Fighter 6. It was going to be one of the first games I got on Switch too, because I just thought it was really cool to have it on Switch. Never did, because again, I own it and all the DLC except for, I believe, Elena on PC. I also, it means I can play it on my Steam Deck if the Steam Deck was working right. It's gonna get me. Dead yet? Dead. So you would just have a mode like this in this game, and it would just be an added value. Like, all right, I can play against somebody else, and then this is like a fighting game too. Like, man, I don't even need Street Fighter or just Fatal Fury or whatever. I can just play Double Dragon. Dumb thoughts. Well, this is what people thought back then. But again, this is an arcade game, so if you're into playing the arcade game, it doesn't look like the arcade, but it plays great to me. And then you have this bonus mode. Same with this. A lot of these games in here, again, they're like arcade ports. Or, yeah, conversions or whatever. Or if it's not that, it's designed to be like an arcadey style game. Of course, you have games like Zelda that are slightly different. They try to do something a bit bigger. Rygar is an arcade game, but Rygar, the Nintendo version, is not the same as the arcade one. The Nintendo version turns it into like a whole adventure game. Alright, so we'll go ahead and exit this, and we will check these two collections out together. I also picked this up because I have a drum for it. I think they delisted Drum and Fun, which was the first Taiko game on Switch, like the original Switch. But this one's still there, so I figured, since I spent money on a nicer drum from Amazon, Rhythm Magica or something like that. I think it was like $150 or something. Yeah, maybe it was 100. I don't know. I have to. It's hard for me to play it because it makes noise because you're hitting a drum. Yeah, and there's people in the house still. I was hoping it would be just me and the dog here for the next, like, last week and this week, but I guess not. Anyway. So the other night I had streamed the Namco Museum. Why is this so many pages? These are the types of things that back in the day you would buy the game and you would open up the manual and it would just be in the first couple of pages, along with actual instructions. Like now it's all in here. Axiom, Pac-Man, Devious, Mappy, Big Dog, Tower Jiraga, Sky Kid, Hello, Dragon Buster, Dragon Spirit. I don't know which one of these games is which. I believe this is that Wanpaku graffiti game. Yes. This is like cute Splatterhouse. And then there's a demake of Pac-Man Championship Edition. Fascinating. Wrench thing. I'll give you the wrench thing. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever really pulled up my stream stuff. Mute me here. Oh look, I can see your picture here. I really need a better way to like give you the wrench thing. Whatever. Managing moderator or standard moderator? I don't know. It says I made you the managing moderator. I'm assuming that's the wrench thing that you're talking about. There is no wrench. Just like the Matrix, there is no spoon, there is no wrench. Does I have a mention though? Damn not. Are all of these games Namcot games? Fascinating. I gave you the managing one. It says that you have a wrench. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is, as you say so. I don't think anybody ever really goes over here. Oh man, alright, so I have the arcade versions of these games. I remember my dad convincing me to rent this when I was little, because he liked Pac-Man. He liked Pac-Man and he liked Galaga. And later on, he liked Doom. Very specific taste. I'm not giving anybody, no, nobody else is being a moderator in my, there's nobody here. Who are you moderating? It's 334 subscribers, come on. This would be you, and the other person that joins the channel will be the only moderators. It's just 2 moderators. It's like when I go to work, there's days when I'm like, I don't mind working. If they want me to, like, if I need to do work, I'm going to go do work. There are days I come into work and they have scheduled like 8 supervisors to work in my department and like 3 regular workers, and everybody's trying to tell everybody what to do. I'm like, you guys are fucking dumb. Does she drink or smoke or anything like that? Did she ever? Yeah, so the thing about Pac-Man is it's a thing that I didn't really, man, it was probably when I moved back to Florida to gain an appreciation for it. I must make this statement before this game starts. Okay, so funny. This I guess it's the Japanese version of this game, whatever. Okay, so games back then didn't have like, regular like standardized controls. Like a lot of times now you'll see an arcade machine and it'll be a joystick, 6 buttons, or a joystick and 4 buttons, or if it maybe like if it's a fun game like a NBA hang time type thing, it might be 3 buttons. So a thing that I didn't really appreciate is when you see a Pac-Man machine or a Miss Pac-Man machine, it's a really like sturdy looking machine to me. It looks like it's solid. Like it's kind of heavy, it's wood. It's got this tilted back screen, at least the US one. It's got the overhang. It's a standard arcade cabinet, but it just feels like it's stronger. But there's just one joystick. You have a start button, I think, on both sides, so you can play 1 player or 2 player, and you sit there, and all you do is you just hold the joystick, and you just hold the joystick. Okay, that's not joystick motions, but that's it. You can use either left hand or right hand. So it doesn't matter which hand you prefer. And then there's plenty of space there. This is the thing I didn't appreciate until I went back to the arcade in Tampa in like 2008, 2009. Tampa Lanes, may it rest in peace. there's a lot of empty space, and I believe the actual like top part where the joystick is flat. So if you're sitting there and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna put my drink here, boom, you put your drink on the machine and you just use one hand. Or if somebody, like I've seen people sit there and play Pac-Man and get up to like, you know, like the 10th level and smoking a cigarette with the other hand. You cannot do that with a game like Street Fighter or, you know, any of those games. There are people in Japan that I believe got really good with charge characters like that, but can't do it for the most part. That's why I mentioned, you know, for people of a certain age, I feel like, you know, they would just kind of hang out. You see, I mean, I'm gonna have to get this game. I have to dock points for this game already. At least this port, because if you can't tell, the bottom left corner, I'm gonna have to like manually adjust the UI to make it not blocking off the bottom corner. That's a really weird choice. Good. Oops. Game over, man. Game over. I don't think there's certain things that work in the arcade version that I don't think work on this version. I forgot what the areas are, the different ghosts to go to. I used to read strategy guides for Pac-Man because it just seemed like a kind of game that would be really cool to learn. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So, settings. Can I change the controls? I'm messing with you. I need to do that. But what I want to do is I want to see if... Oh, I can just turn that off. Okay. For this, turn the settings. So I hid the controls because what is it? It's two other buttons you could possibly press. All right, they're gone. I can see everything now. I can be a complete heathen, and we can do my new favorite thing to do. The thing I used to insist on playing every game like this. Back when I was new to emulation, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, and all my friends did too. Just the thing that, you know, hey man, why doesn't the game take up the full screen? And then it does, and it looks like, to me now, I can see how the game is stretched out. Back then, didn't necessarily notice. I have to get some old man Jason complaints in a second. Old man Jason complaints. Oh. Failure. The controls. So with Pac-Man, actually, you know, alright, I cleared this level. Whatever, it's fine. I cleared this board. I beat that game tape. Let's go to main menu. Alright, I wonder if it shows up in this game. Alright, so Pac-Man Championship Edition, I don't own the actual version on Switch, unfortunately. This was a huge game when it came out on, what's it called? Xbox Live back in the day. The way the game works is there were a couple of different modes, but the main mode would be like, you start the game off and there's like 10 dots on one side, you clear those out, then dots appear on the other side, and it kind of like keeps spacing out, and you just sort of go back and forth and you try to clear these areas as efficiently as possible. I think it gives you like a 5-minute time limit too, to get the highest score possible. But there was a mechanic. I'm gonna see if it shows up on this or not, because this is. It helped me mentally. I don't think it really changes anything. All right, let me turn the stupid full screen thing off because that's dumb. So there's like a grinding mechanic. When you go around the corners, if you hit it early enough, you would see sparks flying. Yeah, you can see it right there. So that's how you would know, like, oh, hey, I'm pulling this down. So now, clear this out. You get these over here. You hit this. These are gone. You would end up getting like a specific run that you would use every single time. Like, all right, this is the way I clear this area here. You also, as you can see, the ghosts are being chained, which is not how the stuff works in the original game. Four minutes. So I have 4 lives or 4 minutes to try to get this thing cleared. Get that as well possible. Oh. It changed colors. I thought I got it. To me, this was like a great example of like everything that they were trying to do with stuff like Geometry Wars. Like they had all these cool score chasing games back on the Xbox Live Arcade. It's one of the things that made the thing really neat to me. Like you would hop online, and if you're the kind of person who's into getting high scores, you would see like, oh, hey, your friend beat your score by like 10 points. You're sitting there like, man, how do I beat that? And then maybe you go back and you try to do it and you can't seem to do it, and one day, you know, after maybe like a month or two, you get lucky, the person gets a notification like, oh, hey, blah blah blah, beat your score. To me, it was a lot more engaging than just like, say, fighting game leaderboards. Leaderboards are cool and all, but you know, they're where they are. They're just leaderboards. You don't necessarily know the people that are like there. You're not engaging with them all the time. I'm assuming if you get like to say the top tier in like Street Fighter, you probably are coming across these people a lot more often. But for a regular person, you know, they're never gonna be like #1 in the world or whatever. Maybe I don't even think it would show you like fighting games wouldn't necessarily show you like where you are in terms of like your friends' leaderboards. DEDX2 does this really cool thing where it has like this huge ass chain of ghosts. So like you'll, instead of the ghosts following you like this, like them going to the traditional Pac-Man pattern, they would like, here you go. They would be sleeping, and you would like sneak up behind them, and if you hit it at the right time, you would like wake them up. Everybody wants to be high when they play that. Damn it. It just starts moving so fast. And it's a bummer that this doesn't really have like leaderboard support, but this is really cool. This is the thing that made me like, when I looked at this collection, I was like, huh, maybe this isn't a complete waste. Like, of course I have a soft spot for like the Nintendo ports of games, because I like old man games. But look at how fast they're moving in there. They're ready, they will come me. But yeah, this being a unique port of, or like a demake of Pac-Man CE, really neat. seeing the little grinding marks really does like mentally help me understand. Like, all right, I can do this. I can swing myself around this corner, get a little more speed. And, boom. Damn it. Finish. This too would show you how your progress went over the course of like each marker. Play some Jag. It's a cool collection so far. Do I have to do this? I don't even know if it makes any sense. I'm hoping that it saves score. You never know. Again, most of these games here are kind of forgettable, but that right there is interesting. And it's to me, it's the games that are just like different than the Nintendo. Just this. Mostly here for these two having on Paku Graffiti and Pac-Man C for $5. Plus you have these other games too. I just don't remember which game this is. Okay, I remember this. This is one of those games that it feels like a fever dream. Like you would talk to somebody, and they'd be like, "You know the name of the game? What replay? It's like a game. It's like Galaga, but you're a dragon." You're like, "There's no such thing." Dragon Buster, or sorry, Dragon Spirit. Dragon Buster, I believe, is this 2D walkie slashy man. So this game I didn't know about. On the PlayStation, they had the Namco Museum games, and I remember, you know, even back then, man, I'm telling you, like, I must have been like 10, 11 years old. We had this family staying with us, and the son had a PlayStation, and I didn't have an N64, so we would kind of, like, you know, rent games for each other. And I like the idea of a value. Like, yeah, sure, I could go rent, like, I don't know, Tekken or Tekken 2. Or I could go rent the Namco Museum game, and it's got like 8 games in it. This is one of the games that was in whatever. It might have been like the A volume for the Namco Museum. There's another game from Capcom that's a flying up game like that. Can't remember what it's called. It's a game where you play as like angels or something. Anyway, so the thing that was weird about this game, you have this. I didn't understand this menu in the beginning. It's whatever. These are the different areas that you can go to. So let's go up. So when you get in here, the thing that I didn't understand back then, which is funny, you could say like, oh, this is the Origins of Dark Souls. The way that the sword swings matters. Like in a lot of games, when you swing a sword, the sword goes straight out in front of you. In this game here, occasionally it'll hit from behind because it swings, but you also have to like time it, so like if something's near you, you can't just swing at it. You have to account for that whole animation. I do believe I have the arcade version of this on the other Namco Museum. I remember thinking that this thing right here was a really cool fight too back then, because it was like, you know, it's like a fake sword fight. The guy seems to be holding his sword at different elevations. Zelda 2 has some of that stuff also. Two hit points left. Plenty. I'll be fine. It's the dinosaur being over there just doing like whatever the hell this is the entire time. Oh man. Also, so what just happened there? This is the Nintendo collection of Namco games. It's the thing about these games is like, you know, it's cool using save states. It's why I don't really use them that much. Is when you use save states, that game, like I just died one time and I got a game over. I have to start all the way over from the beginning. If it's a game that has like, you know, 10 levels and you get all the way to the end and you die at the boss, like the final boss, you have to start the game all the way over. So all of a sudden a game that somebody's like, oh man, I use save states, the game's super easy, it's only like 10 minutes long. It's like, yeah, for sure, but you're not going to be able to do that if you don't use those save states. That game is going to take you like a month or two to finish, because every time you die you have to start over. I'll teach you about jumping through the window. Graveyard. Nobody can hear you scream. Zombies, aliens, and human flies appear left and right. Rick rises from his grave and goes on an adventure in this comical horror action game. Splatterhouse Wanpaku Graffiti. Only from Namcot. Oh man. This is one of those games that I have seen in videos. I've never really played much of myself, because if you're sitting there, you know, let's just say you're looking for ROMs one by one, or you're thinking like, hey, I want to play a ROM. I have a whole collection. If you're thinking, first off, if it's Nintendo, you're definitely not thinking like, I'm gonna go play Splatterhouse. You sure about that? And then if you are like, man, I really want to play Splatterhouse, you're not thinking, where is Splatterhouse? Ah, yes, let me scroll down to the W's. Oh no, it's a Halloween. I see you are also building your reputation in YouTube community, arcade dude. Oh man, I appreciate you being here. I just have zero community. I keep thinking about getting the official Steam Deck dock and seeing if that fixes the charging speed. If I can get the Steam Deck to charge from like 0% to 100% in like 6 hours, cool. Right now, so the issue right now is that if it goes, let's say if it fully dies, to get it up to like 50% might take 3 to 4 hours. I can live with that. It's fine. The problem is going from 50% to 100%. It does this thing where it charges and then it seems like it stops. Like you can put it on the charger and it just seems like it hits like 50 to like 61%, and it just kind of like seems like it stops and I have to unplug the cord and plug it back in, and then it'll charge up to like 70%. Once it hits 70, I have to unplug it and plug it back in. Or if I leave it just sitting there all day, it'll literally take like 10 hours to go from 50% to 100% or something like that. It's really weird. It's a slight exaggeration. But I'm going to say the whole process of the charger from like 0 to full is probably like 10 to 12 hours right now. Before it was maybe like 2 to 3. Again, I know I don't let my Steam Deck drop all the way down, but there are games that I've been playing on there. I'm like, all right, this is gonna take me forever to charge this. Like, I'm gonna stop playing this and just play my old man games instead, like this. But then that turns into like, maybe I should just go back to using that other handheld or stuff like that. What's this counter in the top corner? Oh, here we go. Here's the thriller thing. So the other thing about this, not this game in particular, but Nintendo spooky games. This is when, if you want to consider this to be a Nintendo horror game, there is another. So weird. There's a of course you have the Castlevania games, but there is a game called Kid Dracula that has a little bit of this like kid-friendly horror. Like, this is, you know, Splatterhouse is a pretty jacked up game, but this is definitely like a game that I wouldn't mind showing a child. Like, hey, yeah, you gonna play something scary? Play this. Because even when you're like hitting something, like say if I hit this hand, maybe the hand flies apart into little pieces, but it doesn't really occur to you what's going on. That's a recreation of that one boss. I believe you do fight a house in that game too. Nah, the actual Splatterhouse arcade game. Turbo Graphics game, whatever. Of course, this is it's loosely based on stuff from the Evil Dead. I think that's the inspiration. That's because they made him cute. Is this the one where your girlfriend turns into like a scary monster? This isn't my girlfriend. This is not my beautiful house. Ah, yes. Again, another thing that is inspired by what's it called? Ye garbage of cesspool. Ah ha ha. Be garbage of cesspool. Oh man. Hit myself 3 times with that same spike. Really am garbage of cesspool. That is the closest to one of the animations I would have had in the in Splatterhouse. I guess that right there too. They have like all these weird like leeches and slugs and stuff that you hit and smash in half. But they have the guys that you would hit with like a baseball bat, and they would fly against the back wall and it would just be like blood. Splatterhouse is a game that people don't talk about enough when it comes to like in-game video or video game violence. It's a horrendous game. Okay. 4 continues. That's all good. Alright, let's go check out the other one. And then I guess that'll be it. Let's check this out. Let's see what's in here. I think Pac-Land is in here, maybe? M2. Read all this stuff again. They cut it down. It was 18 pages before, so we have Galaga. I'm always going, I don't know. I've heard people say that lately. Galaga. Going with Galaga. Battle City. This is a game that if you play it in one of those collections, like if you don't know what it is and you play it, you're like, oh, this is better than you'd assume. It's like you have to defend that little thing in the bottom while destroying the other tanks, I believe. Pac-Land, of course, people say that this was the game that kind of helped inspire Mario. Not this version, but the arcade one. The arcade one, you can kind of see it here, but the arcade one really does look like a cartoon. It's really neat looking. Dig Dug 2. I had played so much Dig Dug in MAME. Didn't realize there was a Dig Dug 2. When I found Dig Dug 2, like, this is a completely different style game, but it's also really neat. I like how the screens are all just the person losing. Super Xevious. I'm not familiar with this. Is this just Xevious but more super? This looks just like Xevious, like the original game. I think I'm gonna load this up. Xevious has arguably one of the most annoying soundtracks of all time. Only because in the beginning it's really neat for the first like 30 to 40 seconds, and then you realize that it's like a 15-second loop, and that's it. Mappy Land, I don't really know. I know I've messed around with it before. Don't really know much about Mappy Land. I know Mappy, the original Mappy. You are a detective or a cop mouse, and you have to stop all the cat burglars. There'll be random pieces of art and stuff that you have to like, art and TVs and VCRs and stuff you have to collect. The little trampoline thing, if you see it, when he hits it, it changes color. I think it goes blue, yellow, red, and once it hits red, if you hit it again, then it breaks. Legacy of the Wizard. This is the thing that made me look into these games to begin with. It was this and that other Pac-Man collection. There we go. There was a kid I knew when I was in 3rd grade. It was like the first actual like friend I made. He moved from Alaska to here in Georgia, of all places. And, we both had Super Nintendos by that point, but he had a Nintendo and he had a Game Boy. And, sometimes when we'd hang out, we'd play like board games. He had Crossfire. I remember being so excited to play Crossfire because I had heard the commercial, but I'd never seen the game in person. And it's not as fun as the commercials make it seem. Nobody gets sent off into eternal damnation. That game, man. Anyway, he had this, and he would talk about he talked about how cool the game was, but his older sister understood it and he didn't. And I've learned things about the game over the years. It's also part of a series, I believe. Rolling Thunder. I mentioned the other day that Rolling Thunder is a game that I did not care for early on, and the older I get, the more I appreciate it. Like, I love the way this game looks. Especially the arcade version, but this right here, the Nintendo version, not looking too bad. It's something about the skinny character models. It's very Lupin the Third. Oh man, Dragon Buster 2? I believe this is not the exact same. Okay, maybe I don't know this one. I was thinking that there was another Dragon Buster in the arcade, but I think this is a Nintendo exclusive. Mendel Palace, I'm familiar with this. This is from Game Freak. This is a game that I'll load up every now and then in like an emulator. Like, wait, what? Game Freak. Mindle Palace, 1989. Game Freak. Game Freak are the people that go on to make the Pokemon games. That's the significance of that. Gapless came out in 2020, so this must be like a new version of this game. This did come out back in the day. Not this version, but there's a game called Gapless. I think you have Galaxian, Galaga, and I think you had Gapless, and you started getting like Galaga 88 and all that other stuff. This is the game again. Galaga, I remember playing this version. This is another one my dad would give me to rent. He used to talk about how when he was in the Air Force, he did like office work, but the guys that were pilots loved this game. Like when they were on, when they had like time off, he would find them at bars playing Galaga, and they would just brag about how accurate they could be. Go here. To me, I mean, I guess I get it, but it feels like they should have turned off the controls in the corner of the screen by default. But maybe they're worried people couldn't figure out how to get out of this. Yeah, I remember playing this and being like, man, this looks just like the arcade at home. And it's not. It really isn't. It doesn't even scroll the same. And again, Galaga's from, what, like 81? But I mean, you know, at the time, it's not too bad. I had a friend who, I believe it was Galaga. Alright, my good pal Peter. Peter is the guy that I have mentioned before. He's the one that committed suicide when we were in 8th grade. Oh man. I think it's an extra life. This comes back down. Peter was the one that got me into emulation. I didn't know anything about it. He had, he would tell other kids about it. He had like Sega Genesis and Nintendo games at the time. I think it was Genesis was the emulator everybody was using back then, and I don't remember what the Nintendo one was. Nesticle. Those are the two. Peter used to make fun of me all the time. We got to a certain point where I guess once he realized that I liked old games, he started to like me a lot more. We hit middle school, he became like one of my like really good friends again until he passed away. Until he died. No, I killed myself. It's sad. Peter called me over to his house because he was using save states, but he wanted to show how far he had gotten Galaga. He was so proud of it. I'll never forget that. He had me come over, and I think he was on like level like 100 or something like that. Again, this was using save states, but still. About where I always end up at. Alright, I want to go back into the main menu. I really want to see if Xevious, that Super Xevious, if that has the same song. It's the mystery of Gamp. Battlefield has evolved with over 70 enemies on the offensive. Tackling this new mystery in the ship this is what they do. They make up names for games like this and things in games that they don't ever expect anybody to say out loud. When you're looking at it like a control panel, and it says like, "Oh, hey, it's the ship," and in your head you're like, "Oh man, I love that ship," and you could know the name of it, but you're not going to say Solvaloo out loud. That sounds stupid. It just says Solvaloo. All right, let's see if we have that song. No, it's a different song. What are those? Oh no, it's the same song. Oh dear lord, it's here. It's back. Oh look, the ships do different things now. Wow. It's like a Super Xevious. Wow! There's so little. That's actually kind of annoying. I mean, not just the song, I mean, the way that the enemy... Holy smokes. Damn. Yeah, I remember I walked over to the kid's house. He stayed maybe like 2 miles away from me, and I walked over to his house to check the game out after school. He would I think the way that we ended up becoming friends is, so he was one of the main people that would like call me names and stuff like that. He'd call me gay or whatever, like stay away from the gay boy, all this stuff. And we're in like 4th and 5th grade. We went over to middle school, and he had to deal with other kids. He'd fit in fine, it's totally fine, but all of a sudden, I guess he didn't feel like he needed to like show off as much in front of other people. So he started talking to me, and he found out, from 2 of the people I was friends with, because one of them said like, "Hey, why do you pick on Jason all the time?" He didn't really have a reason. He's just like, whatever, it's fucking fair. But he would make these. He would ask me like what games I wanted, or he would just be like, "Hey, do you want a surprise? Like, I'll get some games for you." And the trade was like he would charge me $3, and he had like 3 floppy disks, and he would bring a floppy disk, and he would put the emulator and whatever games on it that he could fit on there, and it'd be $3 to $5, whatever. So every single week, because I didn't really have internet. I had internet, but he had dial-up, but his was faster than mine. I had AOL, and I could only use it from like, it would have to be usually after 9 o'clock at night because it's tied to the phone line. And I could only stay up until like maybe like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I have like an hour and a half, and downloading a ROM back then might have taken me like, 45 minutes. So he would put the ROMs on a floppy disk, and then he would charge me, and I'd bring him home, install them, bring him back the floppy disk, and we just kind of do that. So that's one of the things that got me to stop eating lunch when I was in middle school. Because I was like, yeah, I could eat lunch, or I could get games from this kid here. And after a while, we started just hanging out. He's like, hey, you should just come over and just play games on the computer. And that's how that happened. But anyway, he had, he's got super far into Galaga, using save states, of course. That's a memory that stuck with me. Mappy Land. See, Pac-Land is the one that looks interesting. Mappy Land looks like it's just Mappy, but outdoors. I believe this game, the arcade version, came out before the cartoon did, but it looks just like the cartoon. Okay. So, the controls, again, because platformers weren't really, like, standardized when this came out, the controls are, use the A button to go right, the B button to go left, and use the D-pad to jump. Any direction the D-pad jumps. Seeing stuff like this, man, these collections, like, I'm really happy. Again, not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan. I do like old Mortal Kombat. I like, the ones that are coming back out. But, I'm happy those games are coming back out because you don't get to see, Midway games getting re-released anymore. It'd be, like, they put out these, Midway collections on the PS2. I remember one of them had, like, Smash TV and maybe like Off-Road and some other games. Like Midway had so many cool games back in the day outside of Mortal Kombat. I mean, technically they had NBA Jam. I think the deal with NBA Jam is I believe that the NBA owned the license to the term NBA Jam and Midway made the game. But when Midway and Acclaim split because Acclaim published the game for the consoles, the NBA retained the name, so all of a sudden the NBA is like, hey, we want a new NBA Jam. Acclaim, can you make one? And Acclaim's like, absolutely. So they just gave the rights to the NBA Jam name to Acclaim, which is why you have games like NBA Hang Time. Which is NBA Jam for sure, but it's not NBA Jam. It's more NBA Jam than NBA Jam 99 is, for sure. Whatever those games are called, like NBA Jam Extreme Edition. I feel like I should have got that. That also could have been death. I gotta go there and get some cheap viewers. This death? No, it's weird. That's a weird perspective shift, because I'm climbing a mountain right now, and then all of a sudden I'm just on the ground. I'm not all the way on the ground. Shooting babies. Oh, shoot. I felt it when I did it. When I made that jump, I was like, oh man, I should have just kept going. I had tried to slow down. Fairyland. I'm the magical man from Fairyland. Sorry, from Happy Land. I love making people happy. I guess I just do that? Do I just jump? Skill issue. Honestly, playing UFO 50 is one of the things that put me back in the mind of, or the mood for playing this. Like, of course I always love my retro games and retro collections, but UFO 50 being a bunch of games that they came out in this time period. Really makes you appreciate some of this stuff. What the hell is that? Oh, topic of this game, or the topic of retro collections in general. So I have mentioned before that I think it's very weird that they never put out the Disney Afternoon collection, which comes with like DuckTales and what is it? DuckTales. You get Chip and Dale, much other games. That never came out on Switch. Those are Nintendo games. It's a very weird choice. But I was thinking, like, man, it'd be really cool if one day they put out the what the hell? I just go. Am I done? Okay, cool. If they put out the like a WB collection, they have a Nickelodeon collection coming out soon. A WB collection, I guess WB collection, I think would include like the Looney Tunes games in my head, which would be really neat. Like Crazy Castle, the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle games, you also have gonna break. Oh, good. You'd have that, the Tiny Toons games. There's a million Tiny Toons games. There's that, I think that Maui Mallard game would count. You'd even do like a couple of collections of them and put stuff out like, what's it called? Is it Space Race? The kart racing game with like Daffy Duck and all of them in it? Oh man. Man, oh man. It's okay, Mappy. You can rest, homie. You can rest. Legacy of the Wizard. What is this? This is Dragon Slayer. An evil dragon sealed in the painting long ago is starting to revive. Only one thing can defeat this dragon. The Dragon Slayer, a magical sword protected by 4 hidden crowns. Where did they hide the 4 crowns protecting the Dragon Slayer? Can the dragon even be defeated? The adventure starts now. Go to instructions. Let's see what this looks like. Disappointing. It shows you a Nintendo controller. It would be really cool to show you the actual manual. Each family member in this game has different abilities. Choose a character from the 4 family members and 1 pet, and enter the monster-infested dungeon to find the 4 hidden crowns, and finally the Dragon Slayer. The only thing I know for sure, I didn't understand this when I was a kid. When the one kid was showing me, he was like, Alright, so you have the grandpa. I believe this person saves. Yeah, this is the person where you use the password at. Whatever. Can I go back? Gives you the password. Not what I wanted to do. Here, we're gonna go ahead and reset. I can try to explain where the characters are. I'm assuming this is the daughter, you got the son, you got like the dad, and you got the mom. And the other character, the first one would be like, oh, pick the dog. And I'm like, the dog? Where's the dog at? Is that what this thing is? And you pick it, and it turns to like weird Kirby. It's like a hybrid between Kirby and one of the things from Bubble Bubble. So again, this is stuff that I didn't understand back then, that I haven't really watched a ton of videos on this game. I think I need to go to the right. We'll go left and see. Oh, it's here. So you go down here, right? And the thing is that I'm the pet, and as a result, the monsters see me as being one of them, so they don't attack you. This is what people say is that they use this right here to kind of like scout out areas and be like, alright, where should I go to, or what's over here? And then all of a sudden you come up with like one of the actual family members, and that's how you actually make progress. Again, I've never fully understood this game, but it's always seemed incredibly interesting. Like the fact that there's all these different characters and they all do different things. They have different stats and stuff like that. It just seemed like a really neat idea. All of a sudden. Everybody else looks like they get some sort of a crazy elaborate outfit. This guy just looks like he's going out for a drink somewhere. So even stuff like the jump height matters, because you know, maybe for him like he does more damage or whatever, but like if he can't jump as high, it'll make it hard for him to get out of certain situations. It's just it's a bold idea, man. Trying to do all this stuff on the Nintendo. Different characters with different stats, and it's a whole adventure and stuff like that. I don't know if this was inspired by Zelda or not. It's the kind of thing I could imagine being inspired by Zelda. There's a lot of this though on the Nintendo. Like if you think about of course it's not exactly the same thing, but like the Ninja Turtles game, the first one, and how you're kind of trying to rescue people and stuff. You're trying to, I think if the turtles get kidnapped, you have to like get to a certain spot in the level to like rescue them. They don't all do different things. They all pretty much work the same. You know, their weapons make a difference. The solution is just use Donatello most of the time. All the potions that I found are bad. Stop getting the potions. Didn't have an option there. These are the kinds of things in these games where it's like, yeah, this is nice. This is a nice, pleasant game. It's just, I don't know. Can't really tell or explain what it is about it. It just feels this isn't a cozy game, but it's almost there. Oh, I remember getting here and just being like, yo, what is that? There's a dragon here. Fight it? You got these crazy crackheads down here. In, what's it called? In Ghosts and Goblins, they would call them unicorns. For whatever reason. I think I'm almost dead. Still good. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was a thing. The other thing was not a thing. Didn't realize that was an enemy. Wizorb. See, here's what's messing me up mentally. I'm still playing right now. I'm still playing this game right now. I should not be playing this right now. I should be back in bed. 2:45. Here's the catch. My shift does not start until 8 a.m. The problem is that I have to be at work at 6, as I told them before. I was like, just let me come in and work early, please. Nope. They think they are doing me a favor by being like, oh, it's partially them. Like, they don't want to give out too much overtime. But again, like, I have to be there at that time anyway. So I'd much rather just clock in instead of just sitting in the car for like 2 hours. Especially once it starts getting colder, because I'm going to end up going in the building and just waiting in the building. But whatever, man. Whatever, man. I think different characters have different things. Okay, so the top bar must be my, like, a hash mark or something. I think the bottom one is an individual, so I think I have 4 gold left. I think if there's like a red mark up there, that counts as 10. Alright, so now I could switch over to everybody's favorite character. Something. Let's go and save. Okay. What else? I guess I'll load up Hexen and Heretic real quick. Actually, specifically Hexen. Greetings, mortal. His weird eyes in the picture on the left messes with my head so much. Those eyes aren't normally there. It's usually too low res to see him. All right, hold on a second. All right, I'm back. Potty break. Let's see. There's no way anybody's playing this online right now. Nobody plays. Nobody cares about this game, dude. Like, people want to play. They want to play. Doom. Doom. I feel like people will play Quake, but I don't really think anybody necessarily, outside of it being back. I don't think there's the same hunger for Heretic and Hexen. I saw some of the videos. Like, dude, this looks awesome. But yeah. I also didn't think I have a filter. Nobody cares about this. This is not the game anybody goes online to go play. Let's see. Let's see what's in mods. Let's go to featured mods. The Iron Forge and the Shadows of Kronos. The Raven Vault. So in Heretic, you you play as whatever that character is. I guess he's a mage. I don't know. And instead of being, it's a game. It's first person. It's just like Doom. You just, instead of having like a gun, you're shooting like spells out of your wand. When you run out of that, you have you like stab the person with the wand. There's also other weapons that you can get. Like you can get like a crossbow. I had this weird like gauntlets that shot out like force lightning or something like that. So in Hexen they changed it, and instead of it like before in the first game in Heretic, everybody would have been the mage. You just have your default stats. In this one, you have three different classes. So you got the fighter, cleric, and mage. The fighter, as you can see, he's a big dude. He has zero or low magic. Cleric is kind of in between, and you got the mage who has mostly magic, but he's really weak in terms of like melee, and doesn't take a lot of hits. Let's go ahead and go in here. Actually, Squire, Knight, Warrior, Berserker, Titan, Cleric, Altar Boy, Acolyte, Priest, Cardinal, and the Pope. Let's go with the Mage. We'll go with Sorcerer. New intro.
Within the fabric of time and space,
oh, I'm here.
The realm of the Chaos Sphere. For eons, the Serpent Riders, masters of the sphere, have traveled the dimensions, sowing destruction. Disparal is dead. Korax, the second rider, threatens another world. The world of Hexen. Hexen, a world where magic's legacy has spawned corruption. Three powers rule as one unholy trinity, each led by a single man, the warlord Zedek, High Captain of the Legion, is both judge and jury to all the peoples of Hexen. Traductors of the Church. Holds their souls in captivity. And Menelkir, the subtle master of the Arcanum, weaves his unholy magic to spread fear and weakness amongst all of their subjects. Restless in an uneasy alliance, these twisted leaders rule a twisted land. Crushing absolutely all who would dare to oppose them. Today they will trade their worldly power with Korax for the dark gift of unlife, and a mastery of forces more terrible than even their depraved minds could ever imagine. From the ranks of corruption, three heroes emerge, fighting for a single cause: the destruction of the masters they once served. Their names, Eidolon and Parias must heal the world of Hexen for all time. The world must undergo a testing. A journey must begin.
Okay, my bad. It's Power Gaming. This game looks so much better than Heretic does. It's crazy. You know what else? I didn't realize they don't have there's no meter for using the magic, and in Heretic you have a meter. It's just ammo. If they just can't do melee, it's fine. So you guys are gonna be in, it's fine, whatever. Such a cool effect. All the like just different animations from how they used to be. Like there's so much more glass that shatters right there. Like almost got crushed for no reason. Uh, And I'm so like in it right now. This is what I was kind of hoping for. Is like I've played a little bit of Heretic and Hexen before, never got super far into them. I'm not going to either. I've never finished Doom. The only Doom games I finished Doom 3 and then 2016 and Eternal. But I remember renting Hexen 64 back in the day. And all I was hoping for with this game is I was like, man, it'd be really cool to like just sort of play this and just kind of like get into it. Because it seemed like it's got a really cool atmosphere. Look at this. Of course, it's a remaster, but like, it's still neat. You know, the way they're rotating the skybox, remember those? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Thought that was the coolest animation right there. It's the way the bell would actually like move.
Greetings, mortal. Are you ready to die?
Such a vibe. Alright, so the look of this thing feels so much cooler, and then there's an insane vibration that they added to this thing. It sounds like there's a whole epic battle going on somewhere. I just can't see it yet. There is. Look, they give you okay. Cool. Ready for that one. All good. 312. Yeah, man, it's not bad. Not bad. It's pretty cool this even exists. It's so strange that they brought this out, you know, just out of the blue. Like, hey, we're putting out Hexen and Heretic. I think there were people that were hoping when they did the Wolfenstein, the reboots, and they did like Doom, like, man, what if they brought back Hexen or Quake? It's kind of like whenever they make a new Capcom fighting game, they're gonna make a new Darkstalkers. Like, I don't know. Anyway, hope you have a good night. I will